Welcome to the Seer Show. Join us as we dive into the dynamic world of health, wellness, mindset, and fitness with the unparalleled guidance of lifelong knowledge seekers, Sifu Rafael and Nikki Gangemi. Sifu and Nikki will unlock groundbreaking insights with extraordinary guests from around the globe. You'll get the latest holistic approaches to well-being with a sharp focus on the powerful connection between mind, body, and soul. Get ready to take the leap. It's time to embrace a brighter and healthier future with us at the Seer Show.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Nikki, I'm watching your beautiful smile. Good morning. How are you?
Oh, good morning. Well, thank you for the compliment. I'm excellent. How are you doing?
Exceptional, getting better every day.
I love that. Constant and never-ending improvement, right?
That's correct. That's correct. I'm excited for today's show. We have two incredible human beings who are going to be joining us. Let's not waste any time and let's go ahead and bring them on. So we have Terry and Amethysta. I'm saying it wrong, but I will get corrected as we go along.
Hello, Sifu. Hello, Nikki.
Hello, Amethysta.
Hello, everybody.
Hello, Terry.
Hello.
Yes.
So
Happy to be here.
what an incredible conversation. I can already predict, and I didn't even realize that I'm a prophet, but I'm predicting that this is going to be an incredible conversation today. Because we're going to be talking about the layers of identity and transformation. I would love to, Nikki, what are your thoughts on this? And then everybody can tell us their thoughts.
Oh, my thoughts. Well, I am always talking about the layers of the mind, and identity is one of them. In fact, I keep this handy dandy tool on my desk at all times because I'm always holding it up for my clients. Yeah, because a lot of people I find when they want to make change in their life, they focus on their behavior. You know, I'm going to join a gym. I'm going to buy organic. And they do it for a certain period of time. And if they knew the secret of starting with identity, I am a healthy, fit, active person, the behavior becomes so much easier. So that's my little short tidbit on layers of the mind and identity being one of them.
Love that. Wow. I love it. Love it. Really cool. Who's next? Who's next?
I'll say something. I'm Terry. I think that what happens when we look at identity is we have this image of ourselves, even though it might not be the right, image or the true image, and we hold on to it forever. And we don't open up the space to look at, we've changed. How can we incorporate that into a new identity? So I think part of it is, it's all, of course, the mind and how that holds on to our identity when we could be, I try to change every year. I change up. And as I grow, I change. I change my wardrobe. I change my hair. Even how I talk sometimes. It's like free fall, but you have to be comfortable being able to make the shifts rather than holding on to an identity that's so gone. It's like trying to fit into, pardon me, your bar mitzvah suit when you're 45 years old.
Yeah.
So in my own work with identity, or in identity, I see identity as a complex of several factors, four in particular, Because identity, and if we think of this from an epistemological standpoint, identity is what distinguishes one object from another, right? I mean, this is the definition from philosophy that philosophers will give you. So I see, at least the human experience, we have 4 aspects. Our physical aspect, right? This is our body, as Terry was saying, changing our hair, changing the way we speak. We have our cognition, which I saw on, you had beliefs and values, Nikki, on your triangle. So we have cognition, but we also have our interaction with the social environment. And so, and all of those together, at least in my own theories of identity, I think of our cognition and our physical aspect negotiating for safety within our social environment. And that's what manifests as behavior. And so I think, Terry and Nikki, that that plays into what you're saying, that we do end up focusing first on behavior, but we do have layers that go much deeper. And some of them go down to, I believe, beliefs that don't, like we acquired these at birth, I think is how I want to put it. We're born with beliefs and values that we don't know why we know them, but we do know them. So a complex, it's a set of interrelated factors of identity. Sorry, I came in with like a big complicated thing right at the beginning, and you drop a bomb right at the beginning.
Oh, it's well, yeah. It's,
we love it. I'm going to say ditto.
Yeah.
I got to tell you, what I've been hearing is it's really is looking at yourself in the mirror and just asking that question that we sometimes avoid asking. Who am I? I think that's the identity. Who am I today? Because even when I said good morning to Nikki, I told her that I'm getting better every day. And so I don't want to be the same person I was yesterday. Today, I am better than I was yesterday. And so who am I? That's who I identify today as. If I pick up my driver's license, it says, my name, my date of birth, my address. But that's something that, and so many people say, that's the government ID, right? And the government classifies me, whether I can drive, not drive, my height, all of these things. But who am I as a being? Who am I in the world? Who am I to you? But most importantly, who am I to me? I think that's the one that we really have to dive into, because so many times we become people pleasers that we lose our identity. We become who others want us to be. So I think we need to refocus when we look in the mirror. Really see yourself, see who you truly are. So the question that we should be asking every day is, who am I?
Yes.
I really appreciate that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's the negotiation we have to do within our social environment. We tend to take on other people's desires, other people's plans for us, other people's hopes, whatever, for us. What a beautiful point. Thank you, Sifu. That was
Yeah.
I like that.
My pleasure.
And I find that
great conversation. I knew it. Go ahead, Nikki.
Yeah, it's a deep conversation for a Wednesday morning, but I love deep. Well, I was thinking about the question you asked, who am I? And I've had to question that and redefine it, because for decades, I took on the identity of who am I, who I learned I was based on schooling and growing up and things like not fitting in, right? I don't fit in, I'm not good enough, I'm never chosen, things like that. And it really made for a poor self-image. So looking in the mirror, not liking what I saw, it took at least 40 years to be able to like the reflection in the mirror and to have that self-acceptance and self-compassion. So redefining who I am and questioning that.
Yeah, that's I think it's not easy to stand in front of a mirror yourself and to look at yourself, really look, and think about I've had this identity that others have put on me, or that somehow I conjured up myself by putting pieces together. And now, who am I and who do I want to be? Could be anybody you want. There's no stopping you. So I meditate every morning, and in that meditation, I get to think about I'm a being. That's it. Nothing more. And what I wear, it's window dressing, really, who we are. And how do we want to show up? Do we want to be powerful? Do we want to have a voice? Do we want to play a bigger game? Or do we want to be a shrinking violet? So I think the thing people don't realize is every day we have a choice for how we want to go out into the world and project. And do we want to be kind and open-hearted and make people feel really good? Or do we want to go out being miserable and making everyone miserable around us? And I don't think people realize you have a choice every day how you show up.
Without a doubt.
Yeah.
I gotta be honest with you. A while ago, I did. Remember when that show, The Biggest Loser, was on television?
Yeah.
It was extremely popular. So, in understanding that all these people, they had doctors, they had dietitians, they had experts with them 24/7, and they went through this process of transformation. But so many of them did it for the money. Did it to become famous. They did it because maybe some of them wanted to change, but they couldn't sustain it. And so I said, why don't we do something like that? And I worked with a doctor, a very, very well-known doctor, who's actually the head of the hospital in Plainview. And she and she sent all her patients who were overweight to me. And we did meetings with them. We did everything. And one of the drills that I had them do was look in the mirror. And can I tell you, they got mad at me. They got mad at me because I asked them to truly see who they were. Some started crying.
Right.
Some got so angry. But the drill was they had to look at themselves for over 15 minutes without looking away. And that's where all the emotions truly came out, because while they're looking in the mirror, we went through a couple of different things that they can think about when they were looking. And at the end of that, it was the first time they saw themselves. Because I didn't want them to just come in, and don't get me wrong, we were giving them money. Whoever lost the most won, I think it was $1,000. But the thing is that we really went into their homes. I personally went to their homes and removed all their bad food, taught them how to eat. We took them to the supermarket, taught them how to shop. We took them to, and we actually taught them how to cook. So I cook, and the doctor knows how to cook as well. So we both prepared different meals for them, and they enjoyed them. And so that transformation for them was deeper than, because guess what? When all those contestants in the show went home, there was no support system for them. So they went back to who they used to be. So they never really left their cocoon, if you will.
Right.
So then the other thing is, if you think about identity, is there's so many actors who take on a role. They're called method actors because they become that other person right? And they become somebody total. Somebody was telling me recently they went to meet a famous actor. They had an opportunity, but when they met them, they didn't meet that actor. They met the person they were portraying. And it was so difficult for them to be able to, they couldn't even call them by their real name. They had to call them by their character name.
Yeah.
So it was
Boy.
crazy. So think about that. So when are you going to play the role that you're meant to play?
Mhm.
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 Yeah.
If I can,
Of course.
yeah, if I can play off of that, I mean, especially with the biggest loser, we have the tendency. Well, I think Western society wants to pathologize much of our experience. There's a prevailing theory of identity, right? That we start off with genetics, and our genetics ultimately define identity, because that manifests in a body, which manifests in a gender, which manifests in the sexuality, which goes on forever till the day you die. And we get told we are not allowed to change this. We're not allowed to investigate who we are and add embellishments or change it entirely. And so I think, Sifu, what you're talking about too, to a certain extent, when you don't have that support system, we will assume back those pathologies that have been put on us. You have some doctor who tells you, you're depressed, or you're genetically predisposed to obesity or whatever, and some of these we have to accept. Some of these if we don't accept them, sorry, what I meant to say there was that if we don't accept them, then they don't actually apply to us. You don't have to be obese, as you proved, Sifu. So I think that's an important part. We look at a lot of pathologization of just what is the normal human experience, and assume the doctors know better than we do. I'm saying this actually with a little Ph.D. after my name, going, but we get taught that. We get taught, don't question the doctor, right? The doctor knows.
Right. Yes. And what we say to ourselves is very powerful as well. I mean, years ago when I was about 11 years old, a psychologist had said that I had OCD. That label,
Sure.
obsessive compulsive disorder. And there came a point in my life when I was way older where I just decided to drop the label. I didn't find it helpful to tell myself that. So I said, well, sometimes I'll check my alarm a couple of times to make sure I set it, but doesn't most people? Right? So yeah. Or did I turn the stove off? Did I lock the door? I don't have to put letters to that,
Right.
I'm just, double checking something. So.
Oh, hello, Bo.
Bo, hello,
friend
Bo.
of
Good
mine.
morning, Bo. I agree with you because when you think about what you said, Nikki, it's I like to confirm. That's what I call it. Confirmation,
I like
right?
that. Confirmation.
Yeah. So I'm just confirming that the alarm is set. I'm just confirming that I shut off the stove, and I'm confirming I locked the door. I'm just confirming.
I
And
love
so
that.
no longer are you saying, oh, you're obsessive. No, I want to confirm. Okay, so maybe I confirmed more than once, but I was confirming the confirmation.
That's right.
They teach that in anytime you have a computer, right? You need a backup and a backup of the backup.
That's right.
It's always
Yes.
okay to have multiple confirmations.
Exactly.
So interesting.
Exactly.
Yeah.
As a coach, I think one of the things I do, and I've been told I do, is I hold the mirror up. Talk about standing in front of a mirror. I don't let clients get away with anything. I make sure they hold that mirror. And I've been told this, not something I even thought about, but several, you just hold that mirror up and there's no escaping it. No escaping it. You got to hold that up until people start to see, what's going on. So
Terry, you just gave me an incredible idea. Okay, everybody, listen up. I am so sorry to interrupt, but Terry, I want you to continue with that, but I'm going to come back with what the idea you gave me. Go for it.
no, is that that's what clients have said to me. You talk about having them looking in the mirror, that I hold the mirror up until they can't look away, because that's what people want to do. They want to look away. And my job is to not let them look away. So just playing off of having somebody look in the mirror.
So here's the idea. Thank you for that, by the way. Here's the idea that just occurred to me, and I think it can become something good. It can backfire too, just so you know. When somebody comes to complain, just hold the mirror so they look at themselves as they complain. Because usually when we complain, it's because we complain because we don't like what we are hearing, seeing, or doing. And so many times we want to blame somebody else. So
Right.
hold that mirror up and gonna go, let's make believe this is a mirror. I'm gonna go ahead, speak.
I love that.
I will.
Yes.
I'll be all ears, but you'll be looking at yourself, not at me. Right?
I love that. That's great. That's a good idea. We should all walk around with a mirror, and every time somebody does something, hold it up.
Hold it up.
Just when they complain, right? Just when they complain, right? So.
I'd love to return to something Nikki said, by the way, because
Yes.
you had mentioned you were given a label of OCD. I've thought a lot about this and written a significant amount about how labels they can be both useful and extremely dysfunctional, right? And sometimes we will take on a label, whatever it might be, right? I mean, I've called myself a chemist. I've called myself a software engineer. I take on a bunch of labels, but none of those define who I am.
Right.
And I think we end up taking on some labels that people give us because it's more convenient than, how do I want to put this? We'll take on a label because it's easier to take somebody else's label than actually think about it. I'm actually I'll relate this. My experience primarily is with the queer community and the work that I do. And it's very easy. I'll meet people, and I had somebody, gosh, I'm trying to remember all the labels, but I met somebody and she goes, well, I'm a demisexual, transgender, non-binary, lesbian, trans, and it was like over and over. And I'm listening going, wow, so who are you? Right? Because I got to the end of 10 different words and then said, who are you? And she went, like, I was just a little confused. Like, what do you mean? I just told you who I was. It was a set of 10 labels. And I said, no, because none of those labels is you. So I think it's important to, when we get these labels, do they really apply? I mean, OCD is a medical, we'll call it a medical diagnosis, but oftentimes we do get or accept labels that don't define us, but we're just going to use it because it's convenient. It's a shorthand that, it's easier than actually having a conversation with somebody. Well, or looking in the mirror and saying, wait, who am I? You just go, well, I'll take a label. It's easier. Right. I'm curious anybody's thoughts on that.
I love this. I'm going to jump in quickly because I deal with a lot of people who are labeled ADHD, right? Attention deficit disorder. And the question that I have for them is, you say they're attention deficit, but maybe they're not paying attention to what you want them to do, but they're paying attention to what they want to pay attention to. So think about it that way. Yeah. Because I've helped a lot of people get off medication because of the way I train them and so forth. And so it does happen that we're so fast to medicate somebody because we're labeling them instead of trying to help them naturally. Right? Maybe understanding sometimes is what we're missing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've had potential clients that come to me, and sometimes they I've learned that they just choose to give themselves a label like ADHD, or they say, oh, I'm ADD. And I said, oh, were you given that diagnosis? Because if you want me to help you with focus and you have a diagnosis, then I can't work with you, or I need a referral signed by the doctor. Like, oh, no, it's not a diagnosis. I just have, I just say I'm ADD. So I've experienced people just calling themselves something that they have not been officially diagnosed with. So I just find that interesting.
TikTok diagnoses, yeah. It's totally what it is. Somebody's scrolling, they go, yeah, that sounds like me. I must be, what the hell did they say? ADHD. Yeah. Okay, it just says right there. TikTok diagnosis.
Right. Exactly.
I got to tell you, why am I saying
Amethysta? It's fine.
Amethysta. There you go. I got to hear it a couple of times. It's such a beautiful name, and every time that you're in my presence and I'm in yours, I am so, I'm going to say, enamored by the brilliance that you bring to all the shows that you've been on with me. So thank you for being you. When we look at what you said earlier about the doctor is always right, that's so much baloney, because doctors have been proven to be wrong left and right. But because they have that title, don't get me wrong, they're into a lot of schooling.
Oh, sure.
But what winds up happening is that sometimes they don't go to all of the schooling, if you will, right? So it's you need to interview your doctor. You need to find out what their philosophy is, because you can talk to 10 different doctors. They may have different philosophies of how they treat a patient. So we need to be aware of whom is going to give us advice and what advice have they given others. Right. So we need to be proactive in our life, in our identity.
We have to be our own best advocate and not put it in somebody else's hands. Even though, sometimes I'll go to a doctor and they're thinking, get her out of my office.
They're paid for throughput. Right?
Get her out.
7 minutes. Yeah.
I've had experiences where I have vestibular issues, and I can't tell you how many doctors I went to. Some didn't know, some wanted to put me on, start with Zoloft, or put me on this, or put me on that. It's incredible how no one could actually diagnose what was actually going on. It took a while for somebody to hit it up, hit the nail on the head. But, good doctors that you leave their office and you think, these are doctors? It's like, or they're lazy. They're lazy.
Is that it? Do we think it's laziness?
Well, no.
What is it that causes that?
I'm just making that up. But, if it's not something that they can totally identify, right? You have a broken leg, you have a broken arm, you have
Hopefully
this.
They get that, yeah.
Right. But when it's a little out of the spectrum, the vestibular issues, it's not, you can't put a finger on it. A lot of people, it's an unknown area in a lot of ways. And it's just amazing. But digging, I found the people that are helping me. So, and it took weeding through.
Yeah.
Isn't that much of medicine, though? Is unknown? I spent a lot of years in school myself, and one of probably the best lesson I got from graduate school is that I don't know everything. and I never will. There's so much to science. I know that it's difficult for us to reach, what do they call it? Personalized healthcare? Is that the words I've heard? Where like you go to a doctor and the doctor goes, well, let me actually find out what's wrong with you.
Right.
As opposed to, let me see if I can check out how many check off, whatever on my checklist. Okay, you must have this diagnosis. I know it would be difficult. It would be more expensive, at least you would think in the short run, but long term, wouldn't we have healthier people?
Oh, yeah.
See, here we go. Bo's saying all doctors do is go by the Cliff's Notes and medical books. Right, it's like a checklist.
Yeah.
There you go. Thank you.
I remember I was in college at the time, and I was at the doctor, and I was, filling out one of the forms, and I remember seeing like a Likert scale, like numbers, and it said, how many days a week are you sad? Something like that. Or do you have sad thoughts? Yes. It didn't say how many days a week are you happy. It just presupposed I'm sad throughout the week. So I chose a number, and then I was given a prescription for Effexor. It's some kind of an antidepressant or an anti-anxiety medication. I took it once. I had not a good reaction. I mean, I had to leave class. I was in college. I felt sick, dizzy, like an elephant was sitting on my chest. My pupils were completely dilated. I called the doctor the next day. She goes, well, you've got to just, give it 2 weeks to adjust. And then I decided I was going to listen to myself. I said, wait a second. You want me to adjust to feeling like this? No, I'm going to find another way. And that's when I found mindfulness, breathing techniques and yoga and tapping. Yes. And I said, I'm going to do it that way. Just my choice, right? Because it's my life. I get to choose.
It is your life. Listen, when I had knee surgery, I've had 3 knee surgeries and I only have 2 knees. Go figure. But, when I had my ACL replaced, I went to, it was a doctor who's my client, said, these are the 3 doctors I highly recommend. And he said to me, because of this, what you have going on, I would just check out the one that makes sense to you. I said, great, I appreciate it. So it was 3 highly effective referrals. I went to the first one and I said, I asked him, where do you get the tendon from? He goes, oh, cadavers. I said, let me ask you, what are the chances I get AIDS from one of those cadavers? He goes, 1 in a million. I said, guess what? I am that one. So thank you, no. I went to the next doctor and he said, I will take your patella tendon. I said, I do a lot of kneeling. I get down a lot. I do a lot of physical stuff. What am I? Oh, about 95%, to have. I said, oh, that's me. I'm out. And so I went to the last doctor and I said, where do you get the tendon from? He goes, from your hamstring. I said, how will that affect me? He goes, like nothing. I said, deal. But if I did not understand that, I may have gone with the first one and I may not have contracted AIDS. But what wound up happening is that I was able to make an educated decision because I asked the questions. And here's the other thing, because of my physicality, the doctor who actually took my hamstring tendon said, I've done hundreds of these, thousands of these. He goes, you're the first tendon I ever removed that was like super strong. What do you do? I said, I do a lot of holding squats. We call it horse stance in Kung Fu. He goes, well, that explains everything. So it's the way we train our bodies, the way we move. So what I'd love to do is share with you a little bit of something right now. Just take a look at this and then we can chat. You followed the rules, tried the restrictions, counted the carbs, the steps, and the failures. You're not lazy. You're exhausted from doing it all without real change. What if the problem isn't you, but the plan? Sifu's Mind-Body Method is a 90-day transformation built on 7 unshakable pillars: mindset, movement, nutrition, hydration, fasting, journaling, and faith. This isn't another shortcut. It's your structure, your strength, your reset. You don't need harder, you need better. Ready to begin? Start today. That's one of the things I do that I truly enjoy. So when we think about transformation, I want to take it to that because we have a chance every day to choose our transformation. How do we want to transform? What butterfly do I want to be? What colors do I want on my wings, if you will? So how do you decide transformation? I have so many ideas on it, but I don't want to take the stage the whole time. So I'm leaving it to you. Take it away, people. And in the comments too, let us know what you feel, how you think. I like that Bo is making comments. Come on, Bo, keep telling us some stuff. I love it. Thank you.
I think transformation, like everything, has to start mentally because everything is up here. Everything. It's the computer. And it's the first computer. Everything is stored there. And you have to look at what does it take to transform? I mean, does it take looking at your limiting beliefs? Does it take thinking about who do I want to be versus who am I? And I think it's all kind of a conversation with your mind. And you have to be the one in charge, not your mind, because the mind runs most of us unless we understand how to separate the mind from who we are. So transformation has to be an inner job. People look out there for transformation. Oh, I'm going to buy that new dress and I'm going to be transformed.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't work that way. It's got to be an inside job from my perspective.
Yeah, I love that.
Mm-hmm.
So.
I remember reading the book by Maxwell Maltz, Psycho-Cybernetics, former surgeon turned psychologist, I believe.
Love that book. Oof.
Isn't it so good? And I remember reading that, people would come in for surgery on their face and they still wouldn't see themselves as beautiful. And some would come in for multiple surgeries. And it said something like, wondering if they just changed how they saw themselves on the inside, if they would have even had the first surgery.
Right.
I actually was given that book at 10 years old.
Wow.
By a World War II veteran. And because my sister used to help them, they were senior citizens at the time, right? And my sister, so I used to go, my sister used to help them cook and clean and take them shopping. And I used to go and mow their lawn with a push mower, right? Back in the day at 10 years old.
Sure.
And my favorite time was sitting with him and he would tell me war stories, right? But then he gave me that book. And at 10 years old, I didn't read it. I just took it, and I was like, thank you so much. Really appreciate it. And I didn't pick it up till several years ago. Right. And the reason is because I went through some of my boxes that were from back in the day. And I went and I was like, what is this? And I opened it up and you can see it's almost like cracking open and it's like blowing the dust out of it. But the beautiful thing is that this man wrote cliff notes in it. He wrote in the book. He pointed to things. And I was like, oh my God, this is so genius. And I have that book and I very much take care of it because I'm very careful turning the pages. They don't corrode, right? They don't fall apart. But it's such a beautiful book because it does talk to us about our inner beliefs, who we think we really are. And that book really made me think on a deeper level. So, Nikki, thank you for bringing that up. Wow. what a powerful book I got when I was 10 from an
Yeah.
exceptional human being, World War II veteran.
No, how precious that must be.
Amazing.
Gosh, it was beautiful.
Yeah. Hi, Torin.
Howdy, howdy.
I was, I want to follow what everybody is saying, what everybody has said. We've spoken about beliefs. And I mentioned right at the outset that I think that we have this set of knowledge, things that we know, that, like I said, we know, but we don't know why we know them. And I think it's important when we go inside, as Terry was mentioning, that we distinguish that. What's a belief? What is something that we've been taught to believe about ourselves versus what is something that we know about ourselves? Do I know that I am this kind of person? Do I know that I want to be this kind of person? Or is this something that I was taught? Just recently, I finished a hypnosis course, like a certified hypnotist course. I think that this is not a plug. Hypnosis, however, I believe is very. I think it's very can be very instrumental in pulling some of that out, where we recognize, our subconscious holds so much information and can give us so many suggestions to who we are if we can listen to it. And I believe, just that sort of amplifies what Terry was saying. We do need to be able to listen to that and hear it, of who we are. So I think all I did was amplify all three of you, but whatever.
Yeah. And like Sifu was saying earlier about questioning, the power of questioning, even the things that you've believed, is this true? Is this a fact? Or is it a belief, an interpretation, an attitude, a worry?
Confirmation.
Confirmation. Yeah, I prefer to confirm things. That's the kind of person I am.
Well, I got to tell you what an incredible conversation. And see, I did predict it earlier, so I must be some sort of a prophet. I got to tell you, wow, powerful, powerful. I need to re-listen to this. Why am I having
Amethysta? Yeah.
Amethysta.
Amethyst.
Amethysta. I'm saying it. Amethysta. Yes. Powerful conversation, my friend. Thank you so much, Terry. You are just a young and beautiful young lady. As you know, Nikki, I am enamored by you as well. Do me a favor. I'm going to give everybody about 45 seconds. Tell us why somebody should go and connect with you. Amethysta, you're up first.
Oh my gosh. Okay. So all of my work, I had mentioned I work primarily with the queer community, on precisely this. Let's look inside. Let's see what your knowledge is. Let's see what your beliefs are. And then let's take all of that and manifest it, make it real in the world. So you become the person on the outside that you are on the inside. That is the work that I do. And some of it is using hypnosis at this point now. So
look at that. Every day improving, right? Look at you.
Right.
Thank you. Terry, you're up.
Well, I could ditto what Amethysta said, but actually, I am a coach of many types. I'm a business coach, communications coach. I work with people to embrace ageism, and I help people hold the mirror up to look inside to find out what keeps them stuck, because everyone looks on the outside, and it's looking on the inside and wondering how I can help them on many, many levels, and mostly being able to separate themselves from their minds so they can become who they want to be.
Love it. Beautiful. Nikki, you're up.
Yeah, and I do similar work to Terry and Amethysta, also a hypnotherapist, and I love helping people to change that programming of the mind. And every month I do a reset lab for high achievers. The next one is coming up this Thursday, the 16th, and I'm going to teach you a short 3-step process for moving beyond the comfort zones so you can do it more easily and effortlessly. And you can connect with me on social media, visit my website, nikkigangemi.com, for more information.
Wow, beautiful. Thank you, Nikki.
Thank you.
I'm Sifu Rafael. What can I say? I love connecting people. I help people reset, restore, and rise, whether through their own health, their communication skills, or the way they just show up in the world. And that's leadership for me, helping someone become the leader they were meant to be. So it's not about adding more to who you are. It's about amplifying who you are. It's about giving you clarity in a proven system that fuels your purpose. Who are you? Who am I? Let's find out. Reach out to me. I'd love to connect with everybody. And also, I have an event coming up December 6th and 7th in New York City. If anybody wants to come, I know Nikki is in New Jersey. She's not taking the train by herself, but guess what? Maybe somebody in Jersey wants to come over and be at the event. Maybe she'll join us. And then Terry's on the fence. But Terry, how comfortable is that fence? Get off the fence and come to outside and join us. And Amethysta, I would love for you to come and join us in New York City on December 6th and 7th. God bless you, everybody. You are all beautiful souls.
Same here.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Sifu, for having me. Bye, everyone.
Thank you. Bye, Terry. Bye, Nikki. Bye, Sifu.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye, everybody. Take care.